This is a short video example of the image-to-image process explained in my guide. It's meant as a quick demonstration of the time-lapse of the process, so it's lacking in the full details.
You can find the full guide in the description. It's entirely free. Also, yes, this is an AI voice, please understand.
First, here's an example starting from your own sketch. Start drawing your idea as sketch-like or as elaborate as you want. You can also color it right away if you want. The more solid the coloring, the better it will be filled in and shaded using image-to-image. Once you're happy with your sketch, it's time to move it to Stable Diffusion and the Image-to-Image tab. You can either save it as a PNG first or just copy and paste it directly. Write your prompt describing your own image and its defining features, according to your original idea and how you want the result to turn out. Then tweak your parameters, especially the denoising strength. Here, I'm using 0.5 denoising. Then simply press Generate and check the result. You can then take this result back to your art program or send it back to image and do a couple more passes. You can tweak the parameters again or use the same ones. Here I'm sticking with the same parameters and doing 2 more passes. Once you've got a good image-to-image result that you consider has completed your image enough and you're ready to take over, then simply take it back to your art program and start manually fixing, tweaking, and adding whatever you consider is needed. Then once you're done with your manual changes, take it back again to image to even out and integrate those changes. Here, I'm using ControlNet and the Canny model to make the denoising process stick as closely as possible to the image and just even out the pixels, instead of completely changing larger undesired parts of it. Then generate again and check the results. Once you are okay with the results, take them back again to your art program for any additional tweaks if necessary. Here, I'm simply upscaling the image and saving it as a Photoshop file to take it into color correction. I use Paint Shop Pro to correct the colors and remove the tinting that tends to appear after multiple image-to-image passes. This program is easy to use, but you can use any other program or method you want to tweak colors. Then you can open it back up in your art program and make any final changes if necessary. Here I'm simply resizing the image and saving it, and it's done. Next, it's starting from a text-to-image generation using your own model, either a checkpoint or a LoRa trained on your own work. Here I'm using the same prompt from the previous image, checking the right parameters and using my checkpoint. I merged a couple of my own LoRa's trained on my drawings into this checkpoint for ease of use, then generate an image and check the results. This image is good enough, however, I want to see a couple of alternatives, so I increased the batch size to 5 to make 5 more images. All these are good enough to start working from. In this case, I chose the second image due to it being a full body image. Then it's simply a matter of taking that image into your art program and start making the necessary manual changes according to your vision, just like in the previous sketch example. By starting with a text-to-image generation instead of a sketch, you are mostly just skipping a couple of steps from the previous example, but ultimately, you are still manually making and drawing any changes you want. Once you're done with the manual changes, take your picture back to the image-to-image tab to even out those changes. Same as the previous example. I'm using ControlNet and the Canny model once again, but you can experiment with other models like Soft Edge or Line Art. Then generate, check the results, and take them back to your art program. Here I'm making additional manual changes, as this particular result didn't quite come out as intended, even with ControlNet. Tweaking the denoising and the ControlNet parameters, or simply generating more variations, can help in these cases. For this example, it's also not a big issue manually drawing these changes. finally, some color correction, just like in the last example. This tinting might not be noticeable depending on your screen, but it becomes more noticeable, especially as you do more image-to-image passes, and also depending on your parameters. Then the final resizing and whatever else might be needed. And this example image is done too. Next is a time lapse of an image drawn entirely manually without artificial intelligence assistance as a time reference. This took about the same time, if not a bit longer, than the previous two examples combined. However, I consider the result is only about 1/3 or 1/4 done compared to either of the two last images. This result doesn't quite match the vision I have in my head, unlike the previous two images did, and thus would need more time invested into it to reach that level of quality. Hopefully, this can illustrate the time savings provided by this image-to-image process. That's it for this video. Hopefully it can show how artificial intelligence can help speed up your own art process. Again, you can find more detailed info in the guide in the description. All my stuff in my galleries this past year has been made using this process, spending more time and effort than on these quick examples, but the basic process is the same. Thanks for watching.